Yes, ma'am.
Here.
Here.
Here. Here.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate everyone coming for our public hearing. If everyone please stand and join us in a pledge of allegiance, the moment of silence. Ms. Shuttleworth, do we have anyone signed up to speak during our public input? Is there anyone here who would like to speak during our public hearing? Come on, everybody, throw the hand up. We got to do something for our hour. So, all righty. Well, and there's nothing else on the agenda but the public hearing. It's nothing we can do until our work session at 2 o'clock. No man's advertised for 2 o'clock. And so, ma'am, probably should, shouldn't I? I was thinking there wasn't anybody here, so let's go ahead and we get all that adopted and get all the formalities out of the way then. Have a motion the school board adopt the agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? All those in favor? All opposed? I'll even read our official statement, Ms. Shuttleworth, so I'm sure I'm right, just in case somebody's watching. At this time, we invite the public to speak on the topic of the 2014-2015 budget only. Public comments at board meetings are just one of the many avenues for communication, and the board recognizes and appreciates the importance of input from and communication with the public we represent. The public is invited to sign up to speak. The clerk of the school board will write down your name, address, and topic that you wish to speak about. The public is allowed up to 6 minutes at most meetings to express their views on the 2014-2015 budget. Please respect that time limitation that will be enforced. Please understand that it will not be possible to immediately respond to questions or concerns. As a reminder, it is inappropriate at a public meeting to make personal attacks, to be defamatory, or to disparage individuals or identifiable groups. Again, we welcome and appreciate your input regarding the 2014-2015 budget. And being there's no one here, we'll just recess until we start our budget work session at 2 o'clock.
Can we make one comment about why we're having it at this time as opposed to?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sharon explained it better. Can you explain it, Sharon? Well, you explained it so well. Well, in the past, we've had a lot of complaints of having the, and several times we've had more than one public input session. Is that correct? At night, and we had a lot of complaints from parents saying, well, they couldn't be here at night because their kids were home. So we thought to have it at this time to maybe have more public input, but I don't know how else we can encourage public input. We could have another one at night, I guess. Do you want to have another one before, or are we adopting it Wednesday night? We're adopting it Wednesday, right?
You're adopting it Wednesday night,
Yes.
and it's due to the Board of Supervisors by March, I think, 14th.
Okay.
which
Well, I
is
just wanted
fine.
to, say that we are trying to do everything we can to encourage public input by having it at different times.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll go back into our session here we're having on a budget workshop. Does anyone have any questions or any items they'd like to directly address on the budget?
I just want to make sure I understand. This budget was developed based on
teacher input, public input, from the parents, the parent group, administrators' input, and these are the things that are needed for the 2014-2015 school year, based on what they say they need for the students, because we have been operating at a much lower budget with a lot less people, and we found that that's not working, so this is what we need.
Correct. It has gone through 2 levels of scrutiny from the initial request. But the initial request was a $4 million increase, and this in front of you is a $3 million increase.
Okay.
So we did cut it some.
All right, Ms. Gordon?
On this budget, you have one grant writing position.
Mhm.
And according to what we're going to take up on Wednesday night, we're hiring a person that's supposedly has grant writing in the description. So why are we adding a position here?
It was in the budget and requested prior to us reorganizing several positions here that are no longer here. So that would come out of it.
So
If
this won't be
approved,
requested.
that would come out of it.
Okay. Next, you have assistant principal for South Hill Elementary, so that's going to give us 2.5 assistant principals at South Hill Elementary?
No, it would give us 2 at South Hill and 1 full-time at La Crosse.
Okay.
Correct.
Any more questions or discussion? Specific questions? Okay, we'll let you find your paper.
All right.
You wanna-
Yes. I would like to know the instructional coordinators. We have how many? 4. We only have 4 instructional coordinators.
Correct.
And what are their responsibilities? And the reason why I'm asking that is because teachers and administration they have come and say that they are instructing different people to do different things, and then they go and and the teachers end up doing the work, and the instructional coordinators don't. They just give the direction, and then the teachers end up doing all the work, and yet they're getting a high pay, where the teachers, or some of them are 20,000 less, and doing all the work. That's my question.
Dr. Hackman, you want to?
I don't care who answers. Yes.
That is clearly not the expectation, because that's what the they are the content experts. They are responsible for specific areas of content, not just the core, but also all of our lessons. And they are to be a resource to all teachers in the area of curriculum development, assessment, instruction, alignment, materials. They work on budget development with respect to their particular content area. They are the experts in those areas. They go out and research best practices in those areas. And the expectation is for them to be sort of a coaching, very collaborative relationship with teachers. It's not for them to direct teachers to do all the work. That's happening with the high level.
It's just been brought to my attention that, direction has been given, and then they will go to a room and just sort of sit and chat among themselves. And basically, what they told me in a very nice language is that they were worthless. That's what I've been told.
Very valuable. So I've heard different people about how they talk to me.
Okay. I'm, okay. I was just wondering.
I mean, the only thing I could add to that is, in every county you see, they'll always say we're top-heavy at central office, and those people don't do anything, and they sit up there in their castle, and I think it couldn't be further from the truth. From what I've seen, the instructional coordinators implemented our PBL program last year, went into the buildings. For content supervisors, there's probably no one else that's in a region school that's in the school. They're in the school every single day and in classrooms working with teachers every single day. And that's unheard of because they normally are sitting in central office and going to DOE and going to meetings and bringing back information. So we've actually taken a different approach where we put them in the schools. And there's one in each school, and when I say one in each school, we only have 4, but we also have ITRTs, which is instructional technology resource people. And so we have one or the other in every single one of our schools, and I think making a huge impact instructionally every day. And I don't know, maybe the principals could speak to them if they'd want to give those people back and not have them in their buildings.
Is that a question you asked them?
Sure, if they want to answer that. And you want to give back your ITRT or instructional coach?
But she's not one of these instructional coordinators. She is the, and,
She is an ITRT?
yeah, she's an ITR teacher. She's not, we got so many, and you brought it up, the top-heavy over here and in the schools, that we've got supervisors supervising the supervisors that are supervising the teachers. And I don't understand why we have so many layers of supervision for each school. That, and I'm coming from the aspect as being a teacher. And it's getting to the point that a lot of the teachers don't even know who to report to. Do they go here or do they go here? Does this one have the authority to do this? That's what I don't understand. Yes. But then the teachers don't understand that. They are under the assumption that the coordinators are assessing what they're doing and reporting back. See, that's what I'm trying to say. We've got so many that are at the top here that it's becoming confusing as who answers to who.
Ms. Taylor, do you have something? you wanna do?
I do have a coordinator in Tracy, and everything that Mr. Coleman said is true, but I put in, but she also knows that I see, newspapers that came in,
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Ms. Dalton, you like?
As far as overstaffing, what DOE recommends for our size school division for instructional and professional staff is 7.72 positions. I don't know where we get 7.72, but 7.72 people at central office dealing with instruction. And we have 6 people, the 4 instructional coordinators, Ms. Rogers and Ms. Somerville. So according to DOE, we're undersized by 1.72.
I'd like to say, I think they're more important than ever now with the new SOLs coming down. I think they're vital.
I think it's a shame that there's people in the school system that are attacking individuals' jobs who work very hard with our children every single day. Our teachers work hard, our instructional coordinators work hard, our directors work hard, our bus drivers work hard. To insinuate and go after one group in a budget session is really a shame, because everyone works hard at their job, and they're all necessary, or they wouldn't be in every single school system.
Everything else, Ms. Garner?
No.
Okay, I'll make,
Can I share this, what I passed out?
yeah, I'll make sure. Anybody else have anything addressed specifically to the budget? I know Dr. Thornton just passed out a construction needs project and capital improvement stuff here, so we'll move on to that unless someone has some more questions directly to the budget.
Well, we can go back.
Or either way, we can go
to it.
back, it really doesn't matter, but
I just wanted to share this, because part of this is pertinent to this year's budget, too. This is what we're handing out tonight at the Education Committee, and the top page says 2014-15 priorities. And what I really wanted to point out was about 3/4 of the way down the page, it says current principal requests. Those are CIP requests from the principals and the Maintenance and Transportation Department for this budget. And the overall theme that we're bringing tonight to the Education Committee were those other needs in all of our buildings, and they're all listed throughout here. But these were CIP requests now. So I just wanted to point those out. The multi-activity play center at Chase City Elementary, the paving the playground at Chase City Elementary. South Hill Elementary asked for tables and chairs in the amount of $10,000. Clarksville asked for a multi-activity play center playground. La Crosse asked for 77 science tables and tables for first and second grade, and those are not related to PBL because PBL is not mandated in first or second grade. The actual first and second grade teachers got together, and that's the furniture they want to instruct their children. At Bluestone Middle, a baseball backstop was asked for. Parkview High School, a band truck, which is in some pretty rough shape, I understand. And all the athletic departments asked for a front loader tractor with mower, and that was $18,000 apiece. So there's where you get the $72,000. And so the total of principal requests was $174,000. And then the maintenance department asked for 2 3/4-ton work trucks. Their work trucks are pretty old and falling apart. 2 new lawnmowers. And transportation, asked for 4 new cars for student transportation. And if you look in the parking lot at some of the cars out there, that's probably explains itself. And the other one was 6 new small buses. Now, this was, we still have our 2 working leases. This was a new request, and what Mr. Livingston said is with 6 new small buses, he could eliminate a bunch of cars that we have and be more efficient as we pick up different special needs students throughout the county. So that was his request.
And this is reflected in the budget that we have here.
No, this is capital
Okay, so this is not.
above anything in here. This is operating, this is capital. That's why I wanted to share that with you. Because these are one-time expenditures. And there's capital expenditures in here, like your bus lease and your new, your backbones for technology, but they're recurring costs.
But I just
So
wanted to make
they're
sure
not-
that
right.
everyone understood this
Right.
is above what we're
Right.
sending over for the operation.
Correct. When we send it over, it'll be, this is the operation and the capital.
Okay.
Is there going to be any more paving requests at the elementary schools besides the playground area?
Yeah, and that, I took that out. They all wanted paving, but I put
Right.
that in the overall priorities. And all that's in this request, the paving, if you look at the first page,
Yes.
paving at Chase City, existing lots, an additional one in the back, Lacrosse, existing lots, and a new one in the front of the new additions for buses, and South Hill Elementary, an additional lot in the back. So, and that was in this priority list, and then if you look through it, like at Bluestone Middle and the other schools, they've requested paving. I haven't put that as this year's priority, though. I concentrated on elementary school. So if you look what's going tonight, it really concentrates on the elementaries. We just did the additions, we got the gyms, but to finish the work, we need walkways to the gyms, that's on here, new windows, HVAC, the new BARD units, kitchen drains, kitchen upgrades, ceiling tiles, painting the hallways, painting the classrooms, security camera upgrade, the paving, and so that's pretty much is in all 3 of the elementaries. And then if you continue down the list, Parkview High School, I did put paving in there for this year, additional student parking because they have a major traffic problem, and they need an additional lot.
Is that by the football field?
Yes,
Okay.
up from their current lot in front of the gym, just up the next level is where it is. And that way, that whole lot on the bottom could be used for parents and pickup. That's what's creating a major problem over there. And South Hill has a chiller down, and that's a must-need. Right now, it's operating on 1 chiller, and it's a 2-chiller system. And so if the other chiller goes down, we don't have heat and air at South Hill Elementary School. At Bluestone High School, same thing, they have a boiler down, it's operating on 1 boiler. Parkview Middle School has a boiler down, it's operating on 1 boiler. And then I put the bleachers at Parkview Middle and Bluestone Middle, and even though those are buildings we really don't want to do much work with, those bleachers are falling apart and are becoming a safety issue for our students.
Remember that discussion? But aren't there, now they have really high-tech features that you can use them to, if you get through something else, you can move it to They have some that
Mhm. Right, if we spent the money, they could be moved.
And again, the rationale for not doing the bleachers was, oh, we're going to build a new high school in 2007, and here we are, it's 2014, and the bleachers are in worse shape than they were. So,
And if you look at what I put together here, it's basically continuing fixing the elementary schools and some of the major needs that right now, if something happened, like these boilers. And then the rest of the needs are listed on these other pages, but until we get some kind of decision how we're moving forward with the middle and high school, I don't think we should be spending money until you make a decision. Both boards make a decision what direction we're going.
I think you're going in a good direction with continuing to work on the elementary schools until we find a direction from the Board of Supervisors. I think it's going to be good at the elementary schools, especially when you're talking about the paving and the other upgrades, the windows, because when you look at, you know, you can't really heat the school. A lot of the heat's going out because the windows are cracked and they can't open and close. So I think with the elementary schools, we're not going to change those schools anytime soon. So from talking to the different principals at the elementary schools, I'm happy to see that. The walkways to the gyms, that's that diagram that we got the other day?
Yes.
Okay. And the ceiling tiles, that's at the elementary schools as well, in the hallways, the different ceiling tiles?
That's at the 3 elementaries.
Because I know when you go to the new wing, when you come into the old wing, it gets dark. Is there gonna be something with the lighting as well that can kind of light the old wing up to brighten it up some, other than just doing the ceiling tiles?
We can investigate that.
Because,
That and painting, that'll take care of a bunch of it, because it's really, if you really walk and watch the transition from the new one to
Right.
the old ones, like we noticed at Chase Hill Elementary, of course, and all of them, you can see it's just age, the age of those tiles and the grid.
right,
Once it's replaced, I mean, it will really brighten it tremendously. That and painting it, you know, fresh paint on the walls and everything, that'll really make it bright. Because I don't think the lighting load is any different in the new part than it is in the old ones. I didn't notice any more lights, it's just, everything's new and shiny. So,
so when the paint is there,
the paint and the ceiling tile will make a tremendous difference.
okay, good.
And getting those to looking better, because I'm like you walk out of the new additions into the old part, it's like going into a dungeon. So,
If I remember correctly, when Honeywell came in, they eliminated a lot of lights because they wanted to be more energy efficient. And some of those lights that were removed may have been in the hallways at that time.
probably were.
And this is listed in priorities, or is this just a list of all that needs to be done?
The first page is a list of our administration's priorities, and then what the principals and maintenance and transportation requested this year. Then if you look through it, then everything is broken down by building after that. So you'll see where we pulled it from.
So these are the top priorities from all of them, and then the other pages list each individual school
Right,
where they've added more.
right.
Because if we go into these elementary schools and we replace these ceiling tile, paint them, fix those windows and put these barred units like those additions have, I mean, other
Yeah.
than small stuff, and then on elementary schools, we're gonna be in real good shape. I mean, not counting the paving and everything, but I'm talking about the actual interiors of them. We will really be making a big step forward with them.
Does that cover the cafeterias as well?
Yes, cafeteria upgrades.
Because I know we had talked about that before,
Right, so new equipment and like a facelift to the cafeteria. as well.
and that's in here?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree that we need to move forward with this, but I also want to remind the board that our board has already decided in the direction when we voted on September 10th, 2010, to have a consolidated middle and high school on the same site. So that's what our priority is to move forward with that. So I think we need to start working in that direction and looking at that, where I think we need to do the things that the priority list for our middle schools and things like that, but we really need to start moving towards that consolidated high school and middle school and make that a priority.
Yes, we have a lot of priorities. The board did vote for one consolidated high school, and that
And
should be the
middle school.
top, yeah, compound, right.
One site,
Our-
September 10th, 2010.
And you voted for that. I remember. And, but until we get the word back from the Board of Supervisors, hopefully they can tell us when we can start. It's kind of like, what can we do? And if we can have a short-term, long-term, if we can get an agreement with the Board of Supervisors, what our long-term plan is, that's great. If they tell us this is our time frame. But will we not want to continue to do our upgrades at our elementary schools? Because those schools aren't going to change. I mean, they're going to be there. And I know we want to do the high school, middle school compound, yet we still have to continue to improve on elementary schools.
I don't think I made myself clear. I agree with you that we need to
Okay.
do the elementary schools and we need to continue on that path. But at the same time, we need to work on our priority. We've got some priorities for the middle school that we need to take care of.
Okay.
Middle schools and high schools. But by the same token, I think we need to look at building the high school and middle school complex rather than spending a lot of the taxpayer dollars on continuing to upgrade the high school
The current
building, the
middle school.
current middle school, and current building. We need to do the things that are priorities.
Yeah.
However, we need to, why are we going to spend money on these other things when our plan is the high school, middle school complex? And I think we need to work towards that and finding out a time with the Board of Supervisors for that to happen.
Right. I think Dr. Thorne has pointed out, the boilers. We can't afford to have schools, so we got to do that.
Right,
We have to do those things to keep the complexes running. So I agree with you, don't want to spend a lot, but you have to spend
Right.
a certain amount to keep our schools open until we get our new facilities.
Well, we've been doing the Band-Aid approach since the 1990s, so we need to continue that with the focus of let's do it. Let's move forward and let's do it.
I think, yeah, we all want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and our job as school board is to bring the needs to the Board of Supervisors. We
Right.
have no taxing authority. We cannot budget for it, but we need to bring those needs to the Board of Supervisors and tell them, these are the things that we need. And so we're going to do that this afternoon, and then it's up to them to find the funds for it. We don't have that power to do that. But these are the needs. It's been studied since 1990. It was voted on in 2010, and it's 2014, and we're no closer today than we were then. So we need to move forward.
And I think that we have to speak with one voice. All too often, we're not dancing to the same sheet of music. And I made the motion in 2010 that we build one high school and one middle school on the same complex. And we have to continue to work towards that. And we, like I say, you have to still upgrade our elementary schools and do what we can to patch up the middle schools.
I think the vote, every time it's come up, it's been unanimous that Dr. Thornton request.
Well, it's unanimous here, but people leave here and got a different song when they leave here.
I guess I have a budget question.
Yes, sir.
The budget proposal has been asked, it includes all of the teachers. We're not looking at cuts, are we?
At this time, no.
We will be looking at cuts if some of the funding doesn't come through, I guess.
Yes,
Okay. And then we'll come back together and look at what we need to do.
yes.
I listened to the different principals talk about the personnel's people they have. I don't think any principal in here is going to say, we don't need anyone, because the more help you have, the better it's going to be for you. Whether or not they work in your building, or whether or not they come from central office. So any positions that we have that can help you, I think is important. So I support those positions as long as it's effective. As Mr. Taylor said, Ms. Boswell, going to both schools. With our current situation of where we rank as far as our scores, whatever we can do to help you all get your scores up. We just have to do it. Be it ITRT people or coaches or whatever. But I think it really has to come from the principals and the leadership. What do we need? Where do we need to put our energy and focus to get our schools back into a better standing? So I'm happy that the principal stood up and shared that with us, because it helps. If you would have said nothing, then, you know, we could have, it may come up for debate later depending upon how much money we get. But thanks for sharing that with me, Mr. Coleman, Mr. Taylor. You also. That's all I have.
Anyone have anything else on the budget or on this capital improvement project, needs project? You have anything else? All righty, no one has anything? We'll move on. If anybody got any remarks, we'll take board member remarks right now, but I think everybody probably made what remarks they needed to make. So, student liaisons, y'all have anything you need to, like to say or anything? Y'all got any budget? All righty. You good, ma'am? All righty. All righty, have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Appreciate everyone coming.